ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
Elmore deep, left side, Bryant, good! From 30 feet, John Elmore!
The Drive with Paul Swann.
Welcome into the Thursday edition. The Drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. I'm in the producer's booth tonight. I'm looking across the way in my chair. Luke Creasy.
This is a different view than I've had before.
You're like in my chair. I'm board opping you tonight.
I know. This is a weird feeling.
Don't get used to it. How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm
good. Staying busy.
Yeah. So are you in witness protection yet?
I can't tell you that.
Okay. I mean, you're here on the show, so obviously you're not.
Yeah.
Luke Creasy, of course, a former intern here, one of our very best.
The pit crew, I think we used to call us.
Yeah. You know, back when we had a budget and we had a producer for the show, we had a pit crew. We had a crew. Now we have nobody.
You got me.
I got
and
you.
I got you.
Yeah, exactly.
Today, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll work.
Because today you I don't know what you were thinking today. Luke, of course, works for HD Media, the Wayne County News. I mean, how do we describe? What do you do?
I'm the primary writer for the Wayne County News, and it involves a lot of news and a lot of sports. So I have delved into the realm of high school basketball, high school football this year, but also recently picked up a weekly column with the Wayne County News, and that's been fun. I wrote my third one, or I guess my third one got published in this week's publication, and it was a fun one.
Why do you hate Tom Brady so much? What did he do to you?
Okay, well, first of all, I don't hate him. I just don't like him. Hate's a strong word. I don't like Tom Brady, and part of that comes from seeing him have so much success. Now, I don't hate people who have success. I love for people to have success, but Tom Brady does it so well, and he's done it for such a long time that I guess I'm jealous of his success. Envy, and envious that no other team in the NFL couldn't really come up with a quarterback with long, sustaining success, such as Brady. But it's been fun to watch, and that's what I talked about in my column. I got a text from you earlier, and I had a feeling you read it. When I got
you were hoping I read it.
I was, and I was a little bit curious when I got a GIF of Tom Brady on my phone in a text from you, but I talked about it in the column. I don't like him, but I respect what he's done. If you look at, well, specifically that AFC Championship game, and of course his 8th consecutive, he's had a hand in getting the Patriots there the whole time. He's been in the driver's seat and behind center, but he was special in the final drive in regulation and in overtime. I'm upset that Patrick Mahomes didn't get a shot there in overtime because of some bad overtime rules in the NFL, but we won't get into that. But Brady was special in that AFC Championship game, and he has a way of continuing to be special anytime he gets the ball, really. He got the ball with 2 minutes left, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thought, oh, boy, here we go.
So this is your new job now. You rile people up at the Wayne County News.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
I like to stir the pot.
Are you at the footsteps of do you go over to the Herald Dispatch building and you sit down at the foot of Chuck Landon and does he dispense knowledge and wisdom to you as far as here's what you need to do to write a column? Is that happening?
I haven't reached out to Chuck yet. Now, I'm not saying that won't happen because Chuck's very good at what he does. But I do see Chuck occasionally, and it's been fun to kind of be around him and be in that environment, something that I wasn't in college. Obviously, I did a lot of radio work in college and didn't really work in print until my final semester. But I've kind of jumped full force into the print world. But it's been fun, and I get to do a lot of different stuff. A column is not something I necessarily saw coming, but it was an opportunity, and I'd be dumb not to take it.
Okay, so you don't like Tom Brady. You're covering sports now for the Wayne County News. And
yes, sir.
What's that been like, just knowing that you're continuing a legacy of covering a county that has had, in its own way, a pretty strong sports section for a long time? I mean, guys like Randy Payton, who were there before you, of course, made it that way. And of any county, the Wayne County News has definitely, I think, led the charge as far as what small local newspapers should look like when it comes to covering their community.
Well, if you think of the three high schools in Wayne County, you've got Spring Valley, Wayne High School, of course, and Tulsa High School. Those are some high schools with some pretty excelling athletic programs. Obviously, Spring Valley's had the football success That's been fun to be a part of and be in that environment. The basketball team's doing well. They've got Grayson Malashevich and, of course, Doug Nestor playing on the basketball court for the first time. I don't think Nestor's played since 8th grade. Malashevich took a couple years off, so they're looking pretty good on the basketball court. And then there's a lot of rich history in Wayne County sports, and that's been something that has been fun to be a part of. Of course, I was an outsider, just a few short months ago before football season. Hadn't spent a lot of time in Wayne County, and so it's been the majority of through football season, and now as we're in a basketball season, I guess we're over halfway through the high school basketball season. But it's been sort of kind of getting to know the culture out there. If you've never been in that environment before, they're very passionate about their sports. Both Wayne, Tulsa, and Spring Valley are very passionate, and it, of course, like we've mentioned, got a lot of history. It's been fun to kind of submerge myself in. I spend a lot of time out in Glen Hayes. That's where Tulsa High School is, if you're not familiar with the area. But shoot down on Route 52 and go till you don't see anything, and then Tulsa High School is right around the corner. But I spend a lot of time out there getting to know some of the coaches. And I had known the Tulsa girls head coach, Rick Marone, previously through a previous connection. But getting to know some of the coaches, some of the players, is starting to establish some of those connections that are so valuable when you first enter the professional field, and I've been blessed with the opportunity to kind of just go full force at it right out of college.
Luke Creasy is joining us. He wrote a column today. He doesn't like Tom Brady, and I made sure that all my friends on social media knew about it.
I liked the project you shared about the kid doing a social studies fair project about Tom Brady cheating. I won't go as far as to say he's cheated every year.
But you could. I mean, go all in.
I could.
I like his kid. Kid decided he was going to do a science.
He went all in. That's for sure.
He went all in. He has scientific backup to show that Tom Brady cheated. And I like some of his answers, like, "Hey, give me some of your money since you don't deserve it." It's a typical kid there for you. I love it.
Yeah. Well, a kid could always use some more money.
10 years old. He's gonna go far. He's gonna be a sports columnist or a sports writer or talk show host real soon here.
I'll admit, I probably wouldn't have been as kind in my column to Tom Brady had he completed a game-winning drive against the Eagles in the Super Bowl a year ago.
Oh, no. Yeah, you have to show your bias. That's because we're objective in this media.
Absolutely.
So you have to show your bias.
Those of you who have known me from my time producing on the show, I'm a big Eagles fan. I was on cloud 9 after the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. We had Vinnie Curry on.
Yeah, you were on cloud 10 there.
Yes, I was. I was. And Vinnie Curry has a dog mask. I left my dog mask at home today. I do still have that, though. But that was fun. But I mentioned in the column, Brady got the ball back with just about 2 minutes left there, too. And if it wasn't for an unblocked Brandon Graham that came off the edge and forced a fumble, Patriots might be defending champs instead of the Eagles, who, of course, aren't there.
Well, they're going to get a chance to win that thing back. So Luke's our guest here. You're going to be pretty busy. Have you talked to Chris Dickerson yet? If not, you will be soon, I'm pretty sure.
I have not talked to Chris Dickerson.
Okay. Do you know what I'm referring to? I will explain it, but do you know what I'm referring to?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Great story you're going to be writing real soon, I believe. I'm already telling you your content.
Okay.
You know that there is a push to do something in honor of longtime Wayne High School football coach Scott Jarrell.
Yep.
And Chris Dickerson, who also is
now the name's ringing a bell.
Of our industry and of our ilk, he's part of that push. So I was kind of curious where you were on that, because I know that's coming up soon. You're going to be touching that story sooner than later if you haven't already. So.
Yeah, to my knowledge, Chris is going to go talk to Todd Alexander. He's the superintendent of Wayne County Schools, and try and figure out something there to rename the football field out at Wayne High School after that legendary coach. But I think it would be a good tribute. I think that it would be a fitting tribute. Obviously, Coach did a lot for the program out there, and it's still a very solid program in the state. But that'll be a fun conversation when it comes to it. But the Wayne County Board of Education has been good about honoring people like that deserve it. And so I don't think Chris will run into too much trouble. He's got a lot of the support from the community, I know. But that'll be fun to develop, and I'll definitely be into that when it happens. I go out to the Board of Education meetings, of course, as part of my professional responsibilities. But I'll be keeping an eye out for it, and I'm sure that when the word does come out about a decision one way or the other, that I'll have some coverage on it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun story, or at least it's going to be a fun story to cover either way, because you've got a passionate group of people who want this to happen, and I don't know if they're going to get the opportunity to have that presented to the voting members of the school board or not. So there's some components here about that.
Yeah.
I say put it up for a vote, let them go. Let them say yes or no.
Let the people talk.
I don't see a negative in this. I know sometimes when people propose things, there's always, okay, what's upside, what's the downside here? I just don't know what the downside is to this.
I don't know that there would be one. I think that in situations like this, you really get to see the best of the community. You get to see what people are passionate about, and when people, what I've learned about the people of Wayne County, my short few months out there, is when they get behind something, they give it all they have. And so I know there's a lot of support out there building for that. I did see the petition going around Facebook, and I think that once that gains enough recognition, people are going to have to pay attention to the notion and then decide one way or another. But I love stories like this, being able to honor community staples of the past and be able to do that for them. I think it'd be huge.
Now, are you for the newspaper, for HD Media? Are you the primary sports cover reporter now for Wayne County? How's that work?
Well, with that, the guys from the Herald Dispatch oftentimes pick up on Spring Valley because of proximity.
Right.
I do spend a lot of time out in Wayne and out in Glen Hayes because, realistically, I think from where we're sitting now, Glen Hayes, or Tulsa High School in Glen Hayes, is an 84-mile round trip. So it's a little bit of a haul. And when you've got so many high schools here in the area locally, you're talking about Huntington St. Joe, Grace Christian, Spring Valley, Huntington High, Fairland. A lot of those will be picked up by the Herald Dispatch. And then I do what I can to kind of fill in the gaps with Wayne and Tulsa. So I spend a lot of time out there. Ryan Epling covers Wayne for football because he does public address out there. So he has Wayne football down on lock. I get Tulsa football, and then a little bit of all three of the high schools I get in basketball right now. Baseball and softball, I don't know because I haven't been there yet. But it will come sooner rather than later. But for right now, I spend a lot of time out in Wayne, Wayne girls, Wayne boys, and then Tulsa boys and girls who have had some success this year. You talk about specifically Tulsa. I've seen them probably more than anybody this year. Tulsa girls had 7 wins a year ago, and the Tulsa boys had 6. The Tulsa boys right now are sitting at 9-4, and the girls are at 10-3. They've had a lot of success this year. Rick Marone picked up his 400th win for the Tulsa girls last Saturday in a win against Calhoun County. They're both participating in the West Virginia Hometown Invitational Tournament right now, so they've got home games this weekend, so that's where I'll be. And then, of course, Wayne boys Saturday night host Chapmanville. So that will be a fun game, a high-caliber game for the Wayne boys, who have played good in spurts so far this year. I don't really have the record to show for it, but they played tough against Logan. A lot of people think Logan could win the state tournament title this year and take that from Chapmanville. But I had an opportunity to see Logan. They're pretty solid, and I'm excited about seeing Chapmanville. But, I got a doubleheader on Saturday. I have Tulsa girls at 3:30 or 4, and then I'm heading straight to Wayne for Pioneers and the Chapmanville Tigers.
It's nice of them to schedule that for you that way.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it. I get to watch basketball all day. That's the good thing. I'm getting to do what I love, and I know so many times coming out of college, people can have a hard time finding work. Well, I kind of waltzed right into it. I took an internship after I did the internship here.
You get credit for that one, at least.
I took an internship with the Herald Dispatch and did some writing there, and then just so happened that Spot at the Wayne County News opened up, and the editors there at the Herald Dispatch knew that I had an interest in sports, and they're like, hey, here's some sports in addition to some other stuff. So I still get the fun stuff like county commission and board of education and city council
meetings.
There's
nothing wrong with that because that's where all the fireworks begin sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for Rick Marone to get going again with, you know what, it's not fair for private schools, the way they recruit. I mean, way they get their players. I can't wait for that conversation to fire.
Well,
back
the
up.
conversation might pick up if Tulsa should make it back to Charleston this year and maybe get ousted by one of those private schools. Then the conversation could probably pick up again. I'm sure he'd have a little more merit to the argument too.
You think if they don't, it doesn't?
It probably still does.
Okay, so it's coming back up. See, right there, you're ground zero for that.
Yep.
Next thing you know, you're going to be on Hoppy Kercheval's show talking about it. Maybe you'll be on Caridi's show talking about it.
Bring me on. I'll talk.
Okay, well that's up to them. I mean,
well, yeah,
that's up to them. But
of course.
yeah, you're going to make it. And then you got to explain why you don't like Tom Brady all over again.
Everybody's going to ask that.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to ask that.
We're going to take our first time out. We'll come back. A little bit later on, John Mercer is actually coming into the studio.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
He's always a good talk.
Yeah, and maybe we'll even talk tennis with him because he's going to talk Pirates. He's going to talk Penguins. All these Pittsburgh sports. I don't think he likes Tom Brady either.
Well, maybe we can bond over that.
Okay, you guys can bond. You're hanging out as long as you want to. I'll be here in the producer's studio. What's going on here, man?
Hey,
I mean,
like I said,
it's a different
today. It's a different view, but
it's a Luke Creasy show.
They don't have a board in front of me, just a microphone. It's
you don't know what to do. You got the phone system, and that's it.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, you've got the phone system. I've got everything else here, and all the good stuff. So if you hear something technically go wrong. Yeah, it's going to be on me.
It's not me today.
Yeah, so let's make sure all this is working here. Okay, all the pretty lights are on the board. And you're listening to The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
There's a real reason why Luke Creasy was invited today as a guest on the program. It's not because he doesn't like Tom Brady. No, it's because he's very valuable to me because he knows how to set up the room for our next guest, who is we're getting him situated right now. He brought his assistant coaches with him. I think they're all of combined. Total your staff is the age of 16 combined. John Mercer's with us. Luke Creasy's with us as well from HD Media. You're right. Go ahead and write some of the stuff down. This could be like a free column for you or a free story. It could be.
Hey.
I got your mic. No, you can talk. I have your mic on.
Hey, I take mental notes.
Okay.
I take mental notes. And, of course, if I wanted to listen to it again, I could just go on the podcast.
Right, on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio.
Free
tune
plug
in.
there.
Yeah, I love that.
Just a little plug.
You're doing it. You can share that on your social media channels as well.
I could.
And so could Coach Mercer. Later on, let all his followers know that he was on the radio. He's in here with us now. What's happening, boss? What's happening?
Oh, just got off the tennis courts, so headed down here. So made it. So that's a positive.
Yeah, I mean, you're here in studio. Last time I had him on, he was on the phone. Previously to that, he brought me swag over at the Union Pub and Grill. I still have that hat on display.
Nice.
The back-to-back, not the back-to-back-to-back.
Oh, that's true.
They lost.
Yeah, it's hard to keep it going.
To the Washington Capitals.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
Yeah, unless you're Tom Brady.
Luke doesn't like Tom Brady.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
It's
right here. I printed it. He does not like Tom
With my
Brady.
picture and everything.
I think unless you live in Boston, I think that's a pretty universal thought.
I don't think I'm alone, but I don't like him, but I respect what he's done.
Yeah,
what he's done.
What if I wrote something that said I don't like Ben Roethlisberger? How would that go over?
I think Steelers fans might agree with you there.
That's true.
A few.
Steelers
few.
Yeah, I know.
We would not like that. No.
I know one I'm talking to right here.
Oh yes, of course.
I think he's swinging more towards the Penguins right now, though.
Yeah. So it's Penguin season.
Yeah.
So go with the seasons.
Okay, and then it'll be Pirates season.
Coming up fast. 6 weeks.
Luke, we carry Pirates baseball
of course
for 3 reasons. 1, John Mercer. 2, Mike Powers. And 3, we just wanted baseball on the radio. So there you go.
I like that I'm number 1.
Yeah,
it's nice.
You think
Thank
Powers?
you.
You think Powers is ahead of you?
You never know. That ranking might change occasionally, right?
Yeah. No. So you're like the dean of coaches now over there.
That's a scary thought.
Let's see. You and Small, right?
Yeah.
Who's been there longer, you or Jeff?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Jeff's
It's so
been there
long
a while.
ago.
Yeah.
So we'll have to check the record book.
So when you guys meet in the Star Chamber, all the coaches, is it like the Supreme Court? You all show up and you're like leading the court.
No, I just kind of hide in the back.
Okay.
So keep a low profile.
I mean, you got to teach the kids all the ins and outs here. You're the man in charge now.
Yeah, these kids, they know a lot now. They come in, they're all adept at their social media, everything else. They're ready to go. They're ready to rock and roll. So
you have Kemper. Is he like your lieutenant? Because he's been around just a little while.
He's doing a good job this year, huh?
Yeah, he is doing a pretty good job.
They've turned it around.
He's figured out that if he wins, he gets to be on the program more.
Ah, there you go. That's motivation.
We've got this deal that if he wins and Marshall's playing the same night, he can come on our pre or post game, depending on what time it is.
Nice. Yeah.
Called me from the tarmac the other day up at Columbus, I believe,
Just
to get on the show. Oh yeah, he missed the pregame, so he had to be on the post game.
Hey, that'll work.
Yeah, I mean, he gets to be on the 100,000 watt monster over there, 93.7 The Dog.
Oh, that's nice.
So
yeah.
Hey, tennis is starting back up.
It is. Yeah.
You didn't get that win against Kentucky.
No.
But you got some individual hardware, so that's cool.
Yeah, that was good. We went down there, and it was good. Basically, like I think I said the last time I was on the show, I mean, it's pretty much a true rebuilding of a program. We only had one player return from last year's team, so we have 5 new ones playing. So, it was a really good experience, to go down there, play a team that is currently 27 in the rankings, has a lot of experience, a lot of really good players, and thought we competed really well. Jason, my assistant, and I mean, we were a little nervous before. We didn't. You never know how they're going to react in a situation like that. You're like, okay, we're going to go play Kentucky, first match. So you just hope that they play, how they've been playing in practice, and they did that. They showed up and they really worked hard and went after things and competed really well. So it was a good experience.
Was it nice finally having a full team, just the field, show up, you've got your entire roster, and they can all play?
Yeah. We got in the van, and Jason's like, I've never seen our van this crowded before. So I was like, wait till next year when we actually have 8. But, yeah, so, last year was his first year. So, it was a pretty rough first year for him, and kind of was different because you're kind of saying, it's not normally like this. So, but, like I said before, I mean, things happen, things that coaches always aren't in control of, and, we like to think, you always see in the media, the coaches, getting fired and get under the heat and all this. And sometimes, behind the scenes, there's things that might be going on that people don't really know what's going on. And that, can make it tough, for everybody, for the players that are there and the coaches that are there. And, you just got to try to work through those times and do the best you can and hopefully come out strong on the other end.
Nobody's firing John Mercer. It's not happening.
Fire myself. So
that you can do, but nobody's firing John Mercer.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything wrong, like, I don't know, lose to the wrong teams multiple times. You haven't done that.
Yeah. Well,
you get a mulligan now and then, especially when your team's all injured.
Yeah, I think, people out there sometimes they have this idea, you kind of have your sports, football, basketball, and, that's, obviously, those are, high-profile sports, and they kind of have the idea that, you just kind of throw tennis balls or golf balls and say, hey, go get them, whatever. But, in reality, you get to these schools like a Kentucky, and these guys are super competitive. Whether you're playing football or basketball or whether you're playing horseshoes, these people want to win. And, you always want to have a successful program. And, whenever you are successful, it's a better experience for the student athletes that you do recruit. And they come in and they have success and they learn, what you need to be successful in life. And so, it's an important part of it that, you're teaching that and you're teaching work ethic and you're trying to get your team to be successful. So, it just makes it for, a better climate and better environment for everybody associated with it.
So when does John Mercer get his $1 million scoreboard?
We're waiting for our $1 million indoor complex.
Okay, I was gonna say,
for our courts.
You're right after baseball, right?
Right after baseball,
it's Mercer.
Yeah, so I think we'd be the last facility on campus, to come back to campus as far as an indoor facility. So, that'd make a big difference. It'd really help, practice time. It's not only recruiting, but it's just the general day-to-day, trying to get back and forth. For people who don't know, we play out the Huntington Tennis Club, which is out at the mall, right off of 64. But, that's time, valuable practice time and so on. And so you kind of get into this time of year, it gets it harder. You're kind of cutting into practice time. Just from the standpoint of class time, kids get done at a certain time, and then they got to restart classes at a certain time, and you're really kind of limited in how much you can do. We'd like to do more, but you're kind of stuck just due to the travel.
I know that some of the other sports around Marshall have been able to kind of utilize that indoor facility for like practice purposes. Can you all do any conditioning or anything in the indoor complex?
Yeah, our fitness time isn't really affected, by the travel. It's more the on-court hitting time. So we don't have any indoor courts in there. Tennis, tennis is a combination of, you got to be unbelievably fit. For anybody who's watching the Australian Open right now, and they're playing in 100-degree weather, and they go out there and they play for 4 hours at a time. You better be able to run. You're running miles upon miles of sprints, and then you're doing it over and over and over again, over a 2-week period. So you got to be unbelievably fit, and then on top of that, it's a fine motor skill sport. And whenever you're playing a fine motor skill sport, you need that repetition day after day after day after day. It's different in that you're combining those two.
Yeah.
So when you combine those two, that's why even if you've noticed our schedule, we don't really have like a down season. We're competing in the fall. It's a lot of tournaments. It's not dual matches per se, but we're playing tournaments. We're playing 9 weeks out of the fall. We basically have off over Christmas break because it's mandated by the NCAA, and then we're coming back. And we literally played our first match 2 days after back, and we'll go all the way up till the week before finals. And if we make the NCAA tournament, we play a whole nother month. So you're just constantly in season, but that's kind of the result of playing a fine motor skill sport. You have to compete day after day after day, or practice at least.
Marshall University coach John Mercer joining us on the program. We'll continue on with this edition of The Drive here, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Buckle up. Paul Swann has the wheel on The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Well, we've got an eclectic group in this studio today. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Welcome back to The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. From HD Media, Wayne County News.
Something like that.
You do this little high school basketball show sometimes. You still doing that?
Occasionally, yeah. I make an appearance on Basketball Friday night occasionally.
That's still on the air, right? I can't believe that.
Yep, it's still on the air in its 6th season.
Wow. Okay, so Luke Creasy's with us. He's all around everything. And then the tennis boss himself, John Mercer's with it. Well, okay, the assistant tennis boss. I know who the tennis boss really is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know who's in charge over there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The former coach.
The former coach is the tennis
He still
boss.
has a lot of advice for the current head coach.
How does that work? Does she just look, John, come here. Does she just do that to you sometimes? Hey, look, I don't want to. You're the coach and all, but you're doing this wrong. Does she do that to you?
It's not even that quiet.
Oh wow!
It's like, get over here, get this team straightened out.
Okay.
So yeah, no, she's really good. She's excellent.
That's what I've heard.
So it's great to have her there and watching and
advising. Special
yes.
advisor to the head coach.
Exactly. Yeah, she does a great job. She really understands the game and understands the psyche, the female athlete, and really is a great motivator. Whenever we have her come in and talk to the team and stuff, she really does a great job with that.
So, how much credit does she take for your freshman winning the Conference USA Women's Tennis Player of the Week award? How much does she get for Victoria Walter?
Yeah, well, back in my assistant days, I had a head coach tell me once, as the head coach, I take all the credit for the wins, and as the assistant, you get all the credit for the losses. So that's pretty much where it stands.
Fair enough.
So, Victoria did it. She did a great job. So that was a really good win. That girl was really highly rated. She was actually 60 in the world at one point in the junior rankings. The girl she beat. So it was very impressive. She had been a player who'd been sponsored by the ITF, which is the group that puts on, that's the International Tennis Federation that runs all the Grand Slam events. That girl had a pretty good pedigree. So it was a good win for Victoria. And Danny, we almost won 2 of them. We lost the other one in a third set tiebreaker. So we lost that, and actually one doubles was up when we had to stop the match. They were ahead in their match. So, like I said, it was pretty competitive, which was good. You saw, some of the scores after. They've played 3 matches since. They've been pretty dominating, with the other teams that they've played. So for us to go in there and do well as we did, it was encouraging. Now we need to back it up this weekend and see if we can come out and play well and play that level again, if not a little bit better, since we've been working on things, and see if we can pick up 2 wins on Saturday.
What's the gap right now from where you are, where they are, and where you are and where you want to be? What's the gap in between?
I think that we still need to be a little bit more top strong. We've been working hard on our recruiting, so hopefully that'll happen at some point. But I think that it's such a young team, and they're already at such a good level. I think we have a really good ability to, within a year or two, to be a really good team. Probably the best team that we ever had. Made the NCAA tournament. We competed real well against Florida State at the time, that was also 27 in the country, and probably should have came away and won that one, and ended up playing Vanderbilt. We ended up losing a nail-biter. But we're like that team also. When we'd recruited them, we brought 5 of them in all at the same time, and they just kept getting better and better together, and that's kind of the expectations we have for this team. 5 really talented players that we have right now. Obviously, we have 6 players, but 5 that are freshmen. And, if we can add another player or 2 to that group, we'll have a lot of depth, and we'll also be really strong all the way through, which is what we're looking for. So, this year's it's going to be, typical what you think of freshmen. It's probably going to be up and down. They're probably going to play some matches that are, like, unbelievable, and you're like, this is great. And then, they're going to have to learn how to maintain that because it's a long season.
As a coach, you had to basically do a rebuild.
Right.
How do you, now that you've got the rebuild going on, how do you balance all of this? Okay, you've got a wealth of freshmen. You're going to need some freshmen again.
Right.
You try not to have, okay, they're all seniors now. What do I do? How do you go about rebuilding at the same time maintaining depth for the program, or do you even worry about year 2, year 3, year 4, and you just, all right, I got to go out and get some more?
Right, yeah. Unfortunately, that's a struggle that we have. In our women's tennis, we have 8 players who are on scholarship. That's the maximum allowed by the NCAA, and you have to have 6 to play. So when you get in this situation where you have 5 all coming in at one time, and they're all under scholarship at the same time, if they end up playing all the way through, which we usually do in tennis, they're all great students. We basically had all straight A's in the fall. I think we had 1 B, 2 B's out of our entire team in the fall. So they'll make it through, and then if that's what ends up happening, you're basically, gearing up to try to recruit another group like that. We don't have the flexibility of having maybe like 12 scholarships, and you can kind of space them and do that kind of thing. Ideally, yeah, you'd like to have 2 every year, 2 a year for 4 years and do that, but that just never happens. So it's just the way things go.
Do you get to bank that recruiting budget?
No.
Save that for your
There's
for your
no
trip.
banking anything in budgets. So, no. It'll be a lighter year. So, Mike operates off a zero-based budget. So, those years, if we get our 2 for next year and we don't need anybody the following year, the budget will be less, and we'll just go from there.
That's
so
how we
we'll
run this show.
Save a little money.
We run this show with a zero-based budget as well.
Yeah.
Our budget is 0. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a good way. It's a good way of doing it because and again, they've been David Steele and all of them, Beatrice, they've been great. To our tennis program. They kind of adjust and go with the flow. There's times where we take kids to the All-American in California, and they've done unbelievable. And that's extra money. If we have kids that get to that level, they support them. If they're not going, then we're saving money. But, we want them to have the best experience they can here. So, if it's there and they earn it, Marshall's always giving it to them.
Okay. I know you travel the world. How does that work for you? Because sometimes you bring in players from places. I'm sitting here thinking, do you even have a passport to go to that place?
Sometimes I don't travel as much as a lot of the other coaches are now. Coaches are all over the place now. It's amazing. Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, and it's amazing where all these people are going. Jason, he did go last year. We sent him to Europe. He went there on one trip. He was there for I think 4 or 5 days and back. It was quick. But yeah, it's. A lot of it for us is still, we kind of have to, different schools, different programs have to operate under different ways. And our system has kind of been, we got to work a lot on word of mouth. We got to work, with former players. We got to work with coaches that we know and so on. So, them knowing us personally has always kind of worked from our standpoint, that they've felt good about sending them here because they know that we'll take care of them, because they know us as coaches, as individuals, me and Laurie and Jason and so on. So that's worked. And even with the American kids, it's worked like that. They've known, they maybe have played tennis with my daughter growing up, and, they've gotten to know Laurie over the years or however. And so, there's kind of a unique system that we've had to use here in Marshall. If we don't know kids, we're going into California, and they don't know who we are, and we don't know who they are, and so it's hard to get those high-ranked kids. So that's kind of how it works for us. That's how we've been successful.
John Mercer is our guest. Marshall Tennis. Luke Creasy joining us from the Wayne County News, HD Media, and all other projects, including disliking Tom Brady. Soon to be columnist for the Herald-Dispatch, a columnist in training. That's your job. They're grooming you, buddy. They're grooming you right now.
I'll take it.
Okay. We've got more coming up. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
It's an interesting crew I've put together today. I've got the head coach of the Marshall tennis team, John Mercer. I've got the second most hated columnist at HD Media, Luke Creasy.
I don't know what to think about that.
That's a compliment, man.
I guess.
It's a compliment. Right now, there are Patriot fans all across the tri-state.
Talking about me.
Hate you. They just don't like you, man. You're disparaging their guy.
Hey, that's okay. Maybe they'll come back and read another time.
Okay. And, of course, that column can be read. Where are they dispersing that? The Wayne County News?
It goes out in the Wayne County News, and then, of course, you can read it online at heralddispatch.com/WCN. And then it's under the opinions section.
So you're the future columnist for the Herald-Dispatch.
Hey, well, I'm not going to throw that out there yet.
I can throw that out there.
Hey, you're more than welcome to.
I can do that.
That'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be great.
That'll be you. John Mercer will still be the tennis coach until his when's your daughter taking over for you?
You're going to have to get her back from D.C.
Is she going to is she want to one day just come in and take over for the old man?
Oh, she might. Who knows? You never know. She's got a good sales job right now in D.C. But I told her, that's a great way to learn. So that's what the Celtics coach did, right? Did sales for 5 years and got in basketball. And
recruiting's all about making a pitch.
There you go.
So.
Right?
Yeah. So she
can sell all the signage also. It could be your side job.
Yeah, that's true.
Get a piece of the signage at the new tennis complex, the new John Mercer Tennis Center.
We're still looking for the indoor, so we'll start with that first. So the Paul Swann Indoor Center.
That's never going to happen.
Promoting it every day.
That's not going to happen.
Every day on the show, looking for donors for the Paul Swann Indoor Center.
Every single day.
That's not going to happen.
Every break.
Not as long as the administration is current. Still in their offices over there. They're not naming anything after me over there. Well, I don't think so.
We'll drive you out when Ohio State gets done with theirs and JJ's playing up there. We'll make a road trip up there one day.
Okay, that's fine.
Check out their new one.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the Paul Swann Media Center, but
they could have it in the indoor tennis center.
They could. That could be possible because I know I got to wait.
Multifaceted facility.
I got to wait. I got to wait in line to get my name on a media center.
All these schools are building media centers. There you go.
Why not?
Tie it in.
I like it.
Would it be named?
I'll write my columns from there.
Okay. Why don't you start writing some positive columns about me? I want to make one of your columns.
We'll read it next week in the Wayne County News. Maybe I'll talk about you.
All right. It works for me. John Mercer, good talking to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
What are you going to do now the Penguins are off for a week?
Wow, what a break, huh? West Coast takes that long to recover, huh?
You got that All-Star game thing.
Yeah, that's true. I'll go to the tennis match on Saturday. How about that?
Okay, and Luke.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Luke, what are you going to do now that you don't have football?
Catching up on some basketball action.
Right.
Tulsa and Wayne this weekend.
I'm a Bengals fan, so I don't know what to do.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hey, we're getting a new coach.
Finally.
He's got to win the Super Bowl over the team you don't like first.
Hey, we'll see.
For John Mercer, for Luke Creasy, I'm Paul Swann. Thanks for listening here on ESPN.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Huntington Sports Station.